The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork. Day unto day utters speech, and night unto night reveals knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line has gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them he has set a tabernacle for the sun, which is like a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoices like a strong man to run its race. Its rising is from one end of heaven, and its circuit to the other end, and there is nothing hidden from its heat. These verses are just some of the many evidences for the existence of God. And during World War II, a proverb developed among military men: there are no atheists in foxholes. The meaning, of course, is that in time of crisis, every human being seeks a higher power, even those who strenuously object to the existence of God during times of peace. The Bible supports this idea that every person inherently understands that there is a God. It also adds that humanity is a sinful constitutional aversion to acknowledging such proof. Romans 1:18-32. What is the evidence for the existence of God? Evidence that is available to every human being? As the words of Psalm 19:1-4 attest, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork. Day unto day utters speech, and night unto night reveals knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line has gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. Daytime utters speech, and nighttime reveals knowledge. In their own way, the elements of creation declare God's glory in such a way that humans are without excuse. According to Paul in Romans 1:19-20, the reason no one can be excused for denying the existence of God is because we are surrounded by it. What may be known of God is manifest in men, for God has shown it to them. For since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, so that they are without excuse. If his existence is so apparent, why do so many still refuse to acknowledge that there is a living God and that he is active today? Humans suppress the truth in unrighteousness. They profess to be wise, but they exchange the truth of God for a lie, and worshipped and served the creature rather than the Creator. They chose not to retain God in their knowledge. Romans 1:18-22-25-28. These are all things people do of their own choosing, and for which they will be held accountable. God does not conceal himself, even from the unrighteous. Paul says that people become fools when they deny God's existence, Romans 1:22, possibly paraphrasing the words of Psalm 14:1 and 53:1. The fool has said in his heart, there is no God. But King Solomon said something different about the heart of man. God has put enmity in their hearts, except that no one can find out the work that God does from the beginning to the end. Ecclesiastes 3:11. Solomon's point is that this world cannot satisfy the human heart. Humanity was created for eternity, which leads to a longing for something beyond this world. The longing for eternity is a reflection of humanity, being created in the image of the eternal God. Animals do not contemplate eternity because they do not bear God's image, but humankind contemplates eternity and the need for something bigger because of a longing to reconnect with the God of all creation. The Bible verifies that the understanding of God based on creation alone is not adequate for a saving knowledge of God. A person's sinful nature must be quickened by the Spirit of God to cause him or her to embrace the specific truth about salvation by faith through Christ. But there is sufficient evidence, even to sinners who have never heard the gospel, that God does indeed exist. 2 Corinthians 4:4 and Ephesians 2:8-9.